Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a closer look at the new Snaptain SP700 Brushless GPS drone right after this. Alright guys, so here is the new Snaptain SP700. If this looks familiar to you, well, this is simply a rebranded MJX Bugs 2 SE, the special edition. What's different about this Bugs compared to like the Bugs 2C and the Bugs 2W is they've upgraded the camera here in the nose to a 2K. So it shoots a 2K resolution video. It does look better to me compared to the 1080p cameras that were on the Bugs 2C and 2W, but it is a rather low frame rate. It only films at around 20 frames per second, so it is really, that's not ideal, but at least they have improved the camera on this. And of course, they've got camouflage, it says Snaptain on the top here. Different look compared to like the SC, which I think was like a silver drone. Now you have an SD card slot here on the bottom, so you can put up to 32 gig FAT32 formatted SD card in there and get your onboard footage recorded locally here on the card and not having to worry about transmitting it over Wi-Fi where you're gonna have frame dropping and such. Now, I got around 150 to 170 meters before the Wi-Fi really drop out on this drone. I didn't intend to test the range on it in the flight review, but it kind of ended up doing that because I didn't get real far. It wasn't horrible, but it's certainly not as far as you'd like. Now this uses the 5G 802.11ac Wi-Fi, so make sure your phone supports that. Most newer phones, but if you have an older phone or maybe a really cheap low-cost phone, it may not support that newer Wi-Fi, and you're not going to be able to use it with that. And of course, like I said, it's got brushless motors. As far as I know, this is the first brushless motor drone that I'm aware of from Snaptain. Definitely the first brushless motor GPS drone from Snaptain. And you got your motor pods here, have the red and green lights on the bottom of the drone. Let's take a look at the battery. Now the battery, they did stick with the same Bugs style battery. This is I think it's on this side here, a 2S 7.4 volt 800 milliamp 25C battery that has the little XT30 connector and the balance plug here. So when you plug it into the rear of the drone, you've got the XT30 here. It snaps in and powers up. There's no on and off switch on this drone. So you can use the provided charger. It says one of those USB 2S balance port chargers. This is going to take like, I think it said 3 or 4 hours to charge. It's very, very slow. But thankfully, because the XT30 is such a common connector, that you can very easily use your hobby grade charger. I charge this up in no time using my IMAX B6AC from SkyRC. That worked great and charged this up, you know, at a fourth of the time as that wall charger does. You also get a Phillips screwdriver and a prop removal tool here. And then here is your spare set of propellers in case you would damage one. But you know, these are pretty decent props, but if you fly into something, if the brushless motors, obviously you're going to have a good chance of busting them, and there's no prop guards on this drone. Now, the controller is just what MJX has been using, and Snaptain stuck with that. You have to insert and install this clip, an FPV phone mount for your phone. And then you have this little LCD screen. If I power it up here, you'll see. Now it's not going to have any telemetry data or RX information. You know, that shows the drone's battery because we're not bound. It shows we're in mode 2 and it says we're in GPS. Now you can switch this to off and fly it just in ADI mode, which is just altitude hold with no GPS. This is your auto takeoff and landing. This unlocks your motors and lets them spin up. You need to do that before you hit the auto takeoff. You can also do, I think it was down and in, and unlock them and then just give it throttle to take off. You do have to hold this in the first time you power this drone up. Hold this button in and power it up with the drone on. Now it's going to beep at me, and that does a binding sequence. It says you can try it and see if it works. If not, do that. Well, I've always had to bind these, so when you first turn it on, I didn't get any telemetry information because it wasn't bound. So hold this in with the drone powered on, the battery inserted, hold this in, power it on, and then let up, and then it will bind and beep, long beep, to let you know that the controller has bound to the drone. You got it on. This right here is for headless mode, on and off. This is your GPS return to home. You press that, the GPS symbol will light up here, and it will fly back. Now, it doesn't beep at you to let you know you're returned to home like a lot of drones, so you have to make sure that you look at your screen, and it'll let you know that you're flying back to home. And this is your photo video. A short press does photo, a long press takes your video. This little dial doesn't do anything, and these buttons on the back, you can't press. They're fake. They were used for something else, but not even functional on this controller. These antennas are not real, so you don't have to worry about putting them up. There's no wire in them. They're just for looks. And of course, you said you put your phone in here, and then you can start up the app. The app this uses, and I'll go over this out in the field. I'm just going to briefly mention it here because I got a screen recording in the flight review. You use the app is called Snaptain Eco. I'll put up a screenshot of that from the Play Store, and that's the app that you use, and that's going to have all your information from your telemetry, the information that you have on your controller. But you also, it gives you the ability to do follow me mode, where the drone's going to turn around and face the camera towards your phone and controller. Really, your phone is following the GPS in your phone, and it will follow you as you walk around, and it does a really good job of that, as you'll see in the flight review. And you can do a point of interest mode, which is not really a circle me. It will circle wherever you tell it to circle, so it'll circle around that spot, and you can set that diameter for that, or the radius I believe it was, in the app. You also can set limits on the range of the drone and the altitude that it will go, and you'll see that also in the screen recording when I go through the app out here in the flight review. I believe the advertised flight time on this is around 18 minutes. I don't expect to get that, but I did not fly all the way dead. But you should probably get in the 14-15 minute range. When it hits half battery, it will beep at you and let you know that you can't go beyond 150 meters. If you're beyond 150, it's going to fly back home and land. If you're within 150, it's going to keep beeping at you. It's really, really annoying, but that's what it does. And then, of course, when you get to the critical low battery, then it will fly back and land unless you're really, really close to home. And then it will just land itself there. All right, guys, that wraps up the table review for the new Snaptain SP700 drone. Let's move along outside now for that flight review. All right, guys, let's take the Snaptain SP700 out now for its test flight. Now, I've already got it connected with the controller here on the ground, and I got it connected with the Snaptain Eco app. And I already did a compass calibration. You can see I got red in the front, green in the rear. The lights will be flashing. You do some horizontal spins, and the green light will go solid. Then do nose up, camera straight up, and do spins like this, in a circle. And then you'll get the red in the front, green in the back, and the compass is calibrated. Really simple. Now, to do a gyro calibration, let me recenter the drone here on the helipad, is both sticks down and to the left, and they will flash and then stop. That's just to calibrate level, so make sure you have it on a level surface before you do that. So now, as you guys can see, I have snow on the ground still, but I'm in short sleeve, no coat, and there's no wind today. It's like in the mid 60s today. But I'm not going to do a range test today, because the place, I don't like to do a range test over my residential area. I like to do it down where I typically do them, and it's just so muddy. It's like a mud pit to try to get out there, so I'm not going to mess with the range test today. I'm going to fly it out. We'll do a return to home accuracy test, and then we will do the test to follow me in a point of interest mode, which does a circle wherever you tell it to. Now, before we take off, let's go into, I got the screen recording, let's go into the options. Looks like the minimum, let's see, on or off. Let's see if it'll let me punch one in here. It says it has a maximum flight height, distance, and your point of interest radius. Let's see if it'll let me. Well, we'll try it and see. So if you turn this on, then you can set that I'm just going to go ahead and turn those on and set those to the max, because I'm not sure if those are off, if it's going to cap me. So it gives you a limit, maximum flight distance. It says 500 meters. I'm going to go ahead and just set it there. I'm not going to go that far today, so it may be that those are, with those off, it has no limit. I'm just going to set it there. I don't want to take it out and have it hit a geo fence, so we'll set those to the maximum that it gives me here. But like I said, you may need to turn these off and it'll go farther, but I'm just going to set it to that today just because I'm not going to be taking it farther than that. So let's go ahead and press the gear, submit, yes. All right, we should be good to at least hit those maximum distance there. So let's go ahead and we're going to start recording. This claims it has a 2K camera. You know, this is just a rebranded Bugs 2 SE, and the Bugs, original Bugs 2s had really poor cameras, and from what I've seen, this one is considerably better, though it does shoot a rather low frame rate. I want to think it's like 20 frames per second. I have an SD card in there, so we'll get the footage from the camera. So let's go ahead and do a long press on the camera button on the controller, and we should be getting video. I see the TF lit up in the app, so that's a good sign. And let's go ahead and let's do an unlock on the props, and they'll fire up, and then you can just do an auto takeoff. Let's make sure that we are on GPS mode. We're not. Now I am. Just like the Bugs 3 Pro I just recently reviewed, the controller comes with the GPS turned off. So here's off, and that's ADI mode, which it means it'll drift but hold its altitude. It'll be pretty sporty. That's ADI mode. Then you click it on, it'll level out a little more, and that is your GPS hold. You can see it's kind of backing up there. We don't have any toilet bowling, so that means we got a good compass calibration. Let's see if we can get it to hold position here. Up 3 meters and out 2. And we've got a good satellite lock here. It says 16 satellites in the app. So let's just take it up here and fly it. We'll fly it this way so we're not going into the sun. That low sun angle this time of the year can be quite a bit of glare. So I can see here on the screen, of course, we're getting some bobbling and stuff, which you expect to get on a non-stabilized camera, but I'm not seeing any jello. If there is any, it's quite small, and that's good, because that's one of the problems with some of these, you know, lower end costing GPS drones, is you get jello, and this looks pretty good. Pretty happy with what I'm seeing so far. And for what I've seen, like in Donnie Big Drone Flyer 77's video, his camera looked pretty good. I mean, it didn't have a whole bunch of you know, it looked a lot better than the old Bugs 2W and stuff. Now I'm out pretty good here. I'm out 175 meters. This will fly up to about 30 meters on its return to home if you're below that. Now I'm getting some Wi-Fi breakup here. It's frozen. So let's go ahead and do return to home. Now I got it back. The Wi-Fi range is not great, but you know, 180 meters, that's not too bad, especially only up. Let's give it some throttle and take it up higher here. It was only up. Now I'm up to about 30. Let's call it back home. Let's see if I got a return to home symbol on the controller, so it should be flying back. But the Wi-Fi feed is frozen here. Let's see if we'll get it back or not. Should be coming home. Not hearing it yet. Here it is. It's coming. So the Wi-Fi feed is frozen though. It still says it's connected and strong. I think I'm not sure what it's doing. I can see it. I'm going to give it some throttle forward. It should be coming forward here now. I'm up 36 meters. Now it's coming forward now. Here it is, guys. It's kind of strange. It's almost like it was coming back down, but my understanding is that it will not, if it's above 30 meters, the instruction manual said it would just maintain that height. Here it is, straight up. And it looks like I did get the Wi-Fi feedback. That's good. It stinks when you have to reset that and reset the app and redo everything. Let's see, I can't really tell. It looks like it's going to be way off, but it's hard to judge that. Boy, I get dizzy looking straight up. Must be an age thing. You can correct it. We'll see if it gets closer. I don't want it landing in the snow piles here, which it looks like it's going to do. So it's considerably off from its home spot. So I'm going to turn it and fly it over here and see if it lands, continues to land. So you can't really go by my return home accuracy here because I'm adjusting it. I didn't want it to land in the snow pile here. So obviously that's really close, but I did that. It was going to land over here. I mean, that was kind of an odd return to home because I saw it coming down. I'm not sure what it was doing there. Let's do a long press, and that should stop the recording. Yep, and it disappeared from the app. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead. I'm going to move it back onto the helipad here just to center it in case I'll probably try to do another one here before we end, depending on the battery level. Of course, we'll fly back to home if you hit a low battery and you're beyond 150 meters, and if you're at critical battery, it'll fly back to home automatically, unless you're within 15 meters of the takeoff. So it will not fly back to home on the first low battery unless you're really far out, like as far as I was there in that flight. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start recording again with a long press. And we're recording again, and there's flashing. Let's go ahead, and I think you can do a manual by both sticks in and just give it throttle. Take off a lot quicker than the auto takeoff. All right, it's holding this position now. It kind of drifted there for a moment. Let's try the point of interest mode. As you guys can see inside the app here, you can set that to between 5 and 100 meters. I'm going to leave it at the default of 10. And let's just try that first. So you click this little app here and say point of interest. I'm going to fly it out here. Let's have it circle right over me. Let's click yes and see what it does here. And there it's going to, let's see if it's going to go out and, yeah, it's going to, let's click that again. I'm going to click the return to home actually. It's going right into the sum. Let's go ahead and cancel that now. I hit the return to home. What I was doing was that it was going to fly into those trees, so let me bring it down. We'll try that again. That didn't work so well. All right, we'll get it up a little bit higher here, and let's set that point of interest radius to 5 meters. Done. Click out of it. It'll probably say submit. Let's try that again now. Let's click that. Click yes. And let's see here. There it goes. We'll make it a rather short one. I just want to make sure it doesn't fly into the house here. And there, it's just going to go around that spot you marked it with. So it's not a circle me mode. It does not circle your GPS. It's circling whatever spot you tell it to start circling. If you want to fly up, let's say around a flagpole, and then say, boom, I want to circle that, it'll start circling that. And this is the smallest you can go at 5 meters. To cancel this, it says you either hit that mode again, like I just did there, or you can flip it to ADI mode out of GPS, and then it'll do that. And let's try the follow me. This is one you guys are probably going to use a little bit more. So let's click on the follow me here and click yes, and it's supposed to turn around and face me. Here it's going to do that. Now I'm going to back it away from me a bit because you guys aren't even going to see me. Now I'm waving at you. And let's just walk with it here. I'm just going to walk backwards so I can film it. And yeah, it's following me. Just what you expect. It's following the GPS in my phone. Works pretty good. And the camera, as you can see, it does turn around and it will face to where the camera is facing you. so it's following and filming you and not just filming off in some goofy direction. I'm going to move it forward now. You can look at this too. It is actually yawing and turning itself to keep me centered rather than moving the drone backwards and to keep me in the field of view. So that's nice. All right, that works pretty well. Got quite a bit of sun glare off there as the sun's getting low on the horizon. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and that cancels it. Just going to drop it down now. Yeah, this is a nice drone. Camera, of course, is just, you know, it's not stabilized, so it's not going to be super high quality. Keep that in mind. But if you want your first GPS drone, you can get this one for a good price. You know, this is a pretty good drone. The Bugs series, especially the Bugs 2, is one of my favorites. And of course, that's what this is. This is a rebranded Bugs 2 SE Special Edition, where they've upgraded the camera and some features. And this is a pretty good, I mean, I like this drone. You just need to get it for a good price. It's over $200, is which I think it was being listed at is too much. But if you can get this one, I think Snaptain told me they were going to add coupons to it. If they can get this down under 200, then it's acceptable. But over 200, it's just too much money. Because you can find the Snaptain, you can find the SE from the Bugs 2 SE from the Chinese sellers for half the price this is listed at. But of course, you're waiting. You're going to wait a month or more to get it, and then if you have any problems, good luck getting help. Where Amazon, you have zero issues. You just simply return it and get another one. So that's the nice thing about the Amazon, of course. Alright, we're still recording some video, and you know it's a wobbly, as you're expecting it's going to be. I'm just going to fly it up here over my subdivision a little ways, and then we'll just do another return to home. Shows I still have 3 bars on the craft. I believe it was rated around 18 minutes, which is a little bit more than I would probably expect, but I do remember from my Bugs 2, it had pretty good flight time. There, I'm breaking up again here at 160, so it looks like about 150, 160 meters is about as far as you're going to get on this Wi-Fi. And this does use 5G, 802.11ac, so keep that in mind. Make sure your phone is compatible with that. Pretty much any newer phone will. That usually gives you a better transmission feed, and you won't have the Wi-Fi interference, but oddly this one doesn't have that great a range. Alright, I'm going to press return to home. Let's see if it flies back now and we can get it to do a better return to home than that first time, which was going to be off by quite a bit. So we'll wait for it to come back here. Here it comes. That's our first low battery warning. That's going to basically cap us at 150 meters. Looks like I had the Wi-Fi back for a moment there. And then it froze again. So, you know, Donnie had that same issue. The only real big thing he had problems with at times was this Wi-Fi. It doesn't have very good range. Now these antennas here are for the controller. These are fake. That's why I have them folded down. They're not even, there's no reason to even put them up. There's no wires in them that I can see. So they're useless, just like the other Bugs ones. You can set them up if you want to. It looks nice. They really should be leaning probably inwards, but you won't let you do that. Alright, looks like it's not going to be too bad. We're just going to keep beeping at me during this very first low battery warning, which is quite annoying because it's still got half battery. Alright, so it looks like we're off, you know. I'm going to go ahead and see if I have to cancel it. I think it's going to keep beeping at me. Alright, and now it's going to keep beeping because we're at that low battery. So we're off, what, 6 feet? I'd like to see it better than that, but it's acceptable, but that's not exactly great. So neither one of these return to homes work great for me. I seem to have bad luck with toy drones usually getting really good return to home accuracies for me. I don't know why. In my Evo and stuff with precision landing, it'll be spot on as long as I let it take a good picture of the ground. But these toy drones, you know, I think I've had a few that have worked really well, like the Idea 7, the Lay Idea 7, but I just have so many times when I fly here at my house, I don't get a good return home accuracy. But when I do it other places, sometimes I do. So I don't know. I mean, I had a good satellite lock at 16 sat, so it's not like there's some sort of interference issue or something. All right, guys, this beeping is just going to keep going. Let me go ahead and set the drone down and stop recording so that we don't lose that video from the SD card. Recorded success. But the controller is going to keep beeping. The transmitter's got full batteries. You can see the RX2, and the app shows that too on the yellow bars. So, all right, guys, that wraps up the review of the Snaptain SP700. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Overall, this is not a bad drone. Just make sure you get it at a good price. Don't pay over $200 for this. That's just simply too much money. Brushless motors. It's got decent range, but 150 is not that uncommon on Wi-Fi. But you would like to see a little better range. Of course, the controller, the drone itself was still connected. It's just the Wi-Fi broke up. Be sure to, you know, if you have any questions, leave that in the comments. Be sure to like the video. That helps me out on YouTube. And be sure to click the bell so you know when I upload new videos. Also subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.